When Stone Temple Pilots lead singer-songwriter Scott Weiland died in 2015 at the age of 48, my world went to pieces. The thing that gets me about Weiland's death is that I don't really go in for the groupthink that he just died of drug addiction. I believe that something much deeper drove Weiland's demons and thwarted his best efforts to get clean and stay that way. Welcome to The Radioactive Patient, a music and mental health mashup. I'm Allison Strong, your host. For those of you who don't know about Scott Weiland, he came to prominence in the early to mid-90s as the lead singer-songwriter of Stone Temple Pilots. The thing that got me about Weiland was, based on the band's dense, brawny sound, I imagined that Scott Weiland was the Ubermensch, like big and buff and tough and strong, based on hits like Cracker Man, Sex Type Thing, which was written from the male point of view of a date rape. It caused a lot of controversy. But then there were songs that were tender and poignant, like Adhesive Love, which dealt with codependency, or Sour Girl, or Lady Picture Show. Musically and artistically, Scott Weiland was a shapeshifter. But there was one problem, besides heroin addiction, that Weiland couldn't just snap his fingers and make go away. He had an acute case of bipolar disorder. Not just the bit with the moods going up and down, but sometimes his thoughts went sideways. He saw and heard and even spoke to things that weren't there. And when they gave him medication, he gained 40 pounds. And you can imagine, for somebody that's on stage, in MTV videos, in a youth industry, all of a sudden gaining 40 pounds, you know what happened. He stopped taking his meds. Like Scott Weiland, I have bipolar disorder too, except I got lucky. When I was put into residential treatment, they held on to me until they got me on the medication that evened me out and made me feel optimistic enough about life that I didn't feel like getting high. I'm not so sure that's what happened to Scott Weiland. His heroin addiction was a classic case of self-medication. He did get clean in 2003, and he wrote a book in 2011 that was called Not Dead and Not for Sale. Here's what he writes about his drug of choice. The opiate took me to where I'd always dreamed of going. I can't name the place, but I can say that I was undisturbed and unafraid. A free-floating man in space without demons or doubts. So if Weiland got clean in 2003, why did he die in 2015 of multiple drug and alcohol toxicity? My guess is that his treatment team didn't spend enough time on bipolar disorder, but instead focused on hiring him sober coaches, life coaches, rehab. The emphasis, in my opinion, based on what he wrote in his book about how resentful he felt about all the people on his case, people that he called minders and life helpers, is that because he was constantly being told how to do sobriety and how to do it the right way, that he got irritated and he was at odds with those people, and it became difficult for him to feel like he was his own man. Because in his memoir, Scott Weiland does state that he still drinks, that he's a garden variety alcoholic, that he doesn't see his drinking as the same as his love affair with heroin. But in the end, none of it mattered because he probably didn't feel very good. He kept drinking. He died in 2015 of an overdose of MDA, cocaine, and alcohol. My purpose in making this video and what I wish is that if you have a mental health problem and or if you have a substance abuse disorder, that you reach out and you get help, and you get help for both. If you don't like the help you get, reach out again, because that's what's worked for me. So that's this week's edition of The Radioactive Patient. Don't be afraid to like, subscribe, and make comments in the comments section below, because we need energy, we need activity to grow this community. I'm Allison Strong. Until next time, ciao for now.